So having discussed about the concept of list, which is a collection of data of different types, and we had also worked on various methods involving the list, right? And in the last session, we discussed bubble sorting algorithm, implementation of sorting method in Python programming. And also at the end, we had seen an alternative method, a simplified, easy way to perform the sorting mechanisms. So like that, many algorithms are replaced with built-in methods, built-in functions, simplified to avoid the unnecessary extension of the code instructions and make the application simpler, easier, and effective. So learning has become an easy with respect to the programming languages. So in terms of such a simplification, so that is the reason the Python has been widely recognized and used, not only for learning basic level, but also in advanced applications, scientific applications, medical applications. Okay, and it has reached up to the level of neural networks, deep learning method, and several aspects of the applications. Right? In this session, we are going to discuss the last chapter, that is list in advanced applications. Right? So here we take an example of a matrix application and try to solve how the Python programming will be helpful in achieving to find the solutions of advanced applications. Right? So list can contain elements of much more complex data structure. So what we had discussed in the previous examples, exercise and hands-on sessions are static. We started with the static, a predefined list, and later we'll also provided the input dynamically, right? By having a definition of open list, then later with the help of for loops, the input, the data are supplied. So different data, I mean integer, float, characters, and strings are also included. And we had discussed various manipulations like slicing, concatenation, repetition, finding the length, substring, okay, deletions, and so on. So list does not only contain of a simple data type, but also support various enormous, huge volume of data and also applied to solve the complex structure. A good examples of such cases, advanced applications, matrix manipulations and chessboard. Okay, so matrix is a once popular application used invariably in all kinds of applications, not only in the computers and information technology, but also image processing, where the electronic communication part, advanced algorithms, electrical, okay, and even the mechanical. So several applications are developed with the help of matrix definitions. So when we want to define an object in terms of several dimensions, the basic will be one dimension, then two dimension, 3D and multi-dimensions. Then this, okay, this Java programming can be used with the help of list. Similarly, chessboard. So for every move, there could be a counter move, right? Counter step, which cannot be predicted. So to some extent, we can have a guess, but there are many more alternative moves, methods, okay, ways to have the chess game. Okay, so all these applications are developed effectively, efficiently with the help of list in Python programming. So as far as our syllabus is concerned, we discuss matrix manipulations, okay, in this session, and the chessboard can be left as a assignment to you, okay, in the later part, right? So how to define a matrix? So you have already studied from the basic school leveling. Okay, so matrix manipulations were introduced in the school levels and even in the higher secondary level, PU level, and engineering. You had some advanced applications using matrix, right? Okay, so can you define what does matrix mean? A simple definition of a matrix. Can you please respond the answer in the chat window? It need not to be a direct or exact definition. In simple words, okay, so in a line, can you define what does matrix mean? Give the definition of a matrix, simple matrix. It's an array of elements. Good, right. A collection of rows and columns. Very good. So we have two responses from Mehul and De Silva. Yes. A collection of rows and columns. Right. A set of numbers arranged in rows and columns. Good. So Abhinand, we have another response from Jason. Matrix holds different values in rows and columns. Absolutely right. Right. Any other understandings, definitions, terminologies from your side? All right. So matrix is a framework where the elements, the data, inputs are arranged in the form of rows and columns. Right? Rows and columns. So that could be of any size. A simple matrix will have a single element with one row and one column. Okay. So a static one-dimensional array will have a simple list. So a list, we had defined the list, right? List is expressed, okay, a collection of data which are enclosed in between a pair of square brackets and individual members are separated by commas. So this is a simple basic representation of a matrix, right? So the size of the matrix is one row and three columns, 1 into 3. So it could be also said to be as a one-dimensional array. A simple list is nothing but a one-dimensional array. Am I right? Okay. One-dimensional array. So when we have matrix that could have the extension of dimensions, rows and columns, right? So now we are going to discuss from the Python point of view. I'll open the PyCharm and start with the simple definition of matrix. So let me define an open array. Mean list. So since it is defined as an open blank list, we have to provide the data input at the time of execution. So the input can be provided by using for loop. For I in range the value. Okay, the for loop ends with a colon and followed by the indentation block. So we have to add the element into the list, one after the other. So list dot append, append. The function holds the variable. The control variable is I, right? Then we need to display the output, print list, right? So in this case, for I in range of 2, which means 0 to n minus 1. List dot append I. I takes the initial value by default 0 and 1 up to n minus 1. So the output could be 0 and 1. 0 and 1. Since it is a list, it is defined, okay, in between a pair of square brackets and the elements are separated by comma. It is a common, as I said, a list, a simple list is an example of a one-dimensional array. It is also said to be a matrix. So the size is one row and two column, 1 into 2. Fine. So now it is a one-dimensional matrix. So this one-dimensional matrix, simple list, could be extended into two dimension. because matrix is basically a two-dimension with holding the rows and columns. Now, how can we extend the simple list to represent the matrix? So let us go to the next step. Our next step is to define the two-dimensional list. Two-dimensional list. So one-dimensional, okay, okay, two-dimensional list. So the list needs to be extended to represent the one dimension. One dimension means they should have rows and columns. So we have the only for I in range of 5 to represent row. Row is represented here. Now we have to extend the statement, update the statement to define one-dimensional list and two-dimensional list. So it is simple, the same, we can have it. Okay, so for example, a list is equal to, since it is a list, the members must be enclosed in between a pair of square brackets. I for I in range the integer value, the range number print list. So a simple list now extended to it's a one-dimensional list. So one-dimensional that could represent rows and columns. So we started with defining a dynamic list, okay, and it is extended to one dimension. One dimension will have only row for I, right? So what could be the output of this statement? The output could be the same because we have defined only I. I is nothing but row. Okay. Now this one dimension could be extended to two-dimensional. To two-dimension, which means two-dimension is nothing but a column needs to be included inside the row. Column inside the row. What we have defined is rows. Kindly note, we started with a list. Then it is extended to one dimension list. One dimension represents a row. Row is nothing but the same list. What we have done is we have updated to represent the matrix. So we have defined a row for I in range of the key value. This is one dimension. Now this one dimension could be extended to two dimension. Two dimension is nothing but column inside the row, right? Column inside the row. Now the column inside the row, we have another list. Okay, so for I in range 2. Okay, for I in range 2. This is nothing but I. I represents row, right? So we have to define the column inside the row. Column in the row is nothing but, okay, I for j in range 2, the same value. Is it clear? So for I in range, inside the row, we define a column. For each row, there should be a column. So that is why we started with the control variable I. For each row, we should have the corresponding column values. So for I in range, the integer number, range value. For j in range, the column number, column range. So for every row, we define a columns. That's why we refer the row variable I. Is it clear? For every row, we are generating a column. So it has the reference of the row variable I. Have you understood? So one dimension list with I for I in range. For I in range, the range value. Okay. So it represents one dimension. In order to accommodate the other dimension, that is column, for I, we have, for every row, we represent corresponding column. Okay, so I, for j in range, the column value. Okay, for I in range, the row range, for j in range, the column range with reference to the row. So we are defining a column inside the row. Is it clear? So that's why I started with defining simple list. Please note, a simple list extended to one dimension. One dimension will have only the row representation. Okay. To extend the one dimension to two, we have to define a column inside a row. Okay. So the row represents for I in range 2. Okay. And the row is defined here. The column is defined inside the with respect to the row. So I for j in range of 2. This represents the column values. Inside for I in range j 2, that is row representation. Is it clear? Okay. So we have repetition of row representation and column representation. For I in range function, for j in range function, so this column is referred with every row, hence we have I. So this is a representation of a two-dimension list. Two-dimension list. Is it clear? For I in range, function represents row. For j in range represents column. This column is defined inside the row with reference to the variable. Is it clear? Fine. Now can we have the output? Print list. Any guess what will be the output? Yes. So for I in range of 2, it is nothing but 0, 1. For j in range of 2, again 0, 1. So the result will be a 2 into 2 matrix with 0, 0, 1, 1. The first row will have 0, 0. Second row will have 0, 1. Is it clear? How to define a matrix? Matrix holds, as you have stated in the definitions, it's a representation of two-dimensional array with the values having displayed in the form of rows and columns. So it is nothing but the extension of list. We had already seen defining the list. It's a static. Okay, this list could be extended to represent one dimension for the matrix value. So for I in range of function with respect to the control variable defines the one-dimensional list that could be extended by adding the column representation inside the row. So for I in range of function with for j in range of function referred by the control variable. Is it clear? So this definition is used to represent a two-dimensional list. I mean the matrix. Is it clear how to define a matrix? Okay, so can you imagine to define a matrix to represent a two-dimensional array? How many number of statements do we require to type in either C, C++ or Java? Can you remember? Can you recollect your programming sessions to define a matrix, to create a two-dimension matrix? How many number of statements are required to make it? Definitely nearly 15 to 20 number of lines are required in either C or yes, absolutely right. Fine. But whereas what we do, just a two statement. And the second statement is to display print list. It is all but a single instruction used to define a matrix. One line of instruction, one line of instruction will help, will solve in defining a two-dimensional matrix. So that is the power of Python programming. Fine. So now it is understood. We can have the definition of a row and column in a list statement. Okay. Now let us start how to make it, how to extend the program. So we start with the matrix addition. So matrix addition and subtraction, as you are aware, can be applicable only if both matrices are of same size. Same size. It could be a row and column. A simple example is square matrix. Okay, and even different order also permitted, but the input must be same. If the first matrix is 2 into 3 and the second matrix must be also 2 into 3, then only we can apply the matrix manipulations, addition and subtraction. But as far as multiplication is concerned, we know that the condition is, what should be the condition? For example, 2 into 3 is equal to 3 into of any size, 2, which means the column of first matrix must be equal to row of the second matrix. Then only the multiplication is permitted. Either it should be a square matrix, or if A and B are in the different order, then the column of first matrix must be equal to the row of the second matrix. Right? So for the understanding, let us take a simple square matrix and we'll try to apply this matrix manipulations. So to define a matrix, what is important, what is required is, first we have to define the row and column, isn't it? So input, it's a common statement, input M row, right? Next, we have input N row. That means it is column, yes, N column. Okay, input M row and column, and then after that we need to define, right? Define the matrix. Define the matrix. We had already seen. Okay, so for I in range of the function which represents row, and I for j in range of column definition. So that is we define the matrix. Okay, after defining, we have to supply input, right? So accept matrix 1, the first matrix, because to perform the addition, we must have two matrices, right, of same size, right? So accept matrix 2, the second matrix. Okay. Next step could be perform the addition, right? Accept first matrix, accept second matrix, right? And then we have to perform the operation, right? The output matrix, the matrix manipulation, either subtraction or addition, and then finally define output, result, the resultant matrix. So this is the step we have to follow to perform, to implement the matrix manipulations. Fine. So input, check or decide the size of the row. Int input, enter the row size, right? Fine. Now next we have to the column. Int n is equal to input int input, enter the column size. Fine. Right? Next, define the matrix. So matrix is defined as matrix. We have to define both matrix, right? We require two input. So matrix one, matrix is equal to, okay. So the function, right? For I in range range of range of okay, more precisely we can have, since we have defined m and n the row size, so we can have 0 to m, okay, which means 0 to m minus 1 will be picked. So in general, if we don't define the size, we can have a general function, but we define the size of m and n. So it should be 0 comma m. For I in range of 0, and it will take up to m minus 1. This is the definition of row. Okay. Next, we have to define the column, isn't it? Right? So column could be defined inside the row, right? So for I is initialized to 0, right? So 0 for j in range. So the column range is 0 comma n, right? Is it clear? So for I in range of 0 comma m, it represents the row value, and with reference to the row, the first row for j in range of 0 comma n. So m and n are applied to take the range function, right? Right? Okay. So right. So accept M matrix, the first matrix. So let us have a command line. Enter the matrix elements. Right? Enter the matrix elements. So how inputs are supplied? Inputs are supplied by using the for loop, right? Hmm. Okay. For I in range, the row range is 0 comma m. It is m equal to colon, it is 0. Is 0, right? Okay. Yet. So the row is entered. Next, we have to supply for the column. For j in range, we have 0 comma n, right? Colon. So matrix 1, which we have already defined. Okay. Any mistake? Just right. We'll see. Errors we'll check at the end. Matrix 1 of I j is equal to int input, enter the elements, right? So we missed the Right. So we have not closed the right square brackets, and hence it was showing the error. So when you are typing the inner part, inner branch, ensure that it is properly closed. Okay. If we miss any parenthesis or square bracket, it will be throwing an error, right? So for all the J, existence of J, there was a red underline, which means there is a problem in the definition. So when I checked in the definition, 0 for J in range of 0, comma n. So this, the second dimension has not been closed. So, fine. So a right square bracket was missing as I entered. Now the error means alert underline below the J, the variable has disappeared. Right? So while typing, we make mistakes, and by checking the appropriate statements, you can easily correct it. Fine? Is it clear? So we have defined a matrix. Okay, so for time being, we start with defining one matrix. We have defined only one matrix, and the input are supplied by using two for loops, because we are using two for loops. One to have the row input and another for loop to provide data to the column. So matrix 1 of I comma j is equal to input elements. Fine. The second matrix we'll see later. Now let us check with the accepting one matrix. Now coming to the output, output will be a simple a print function, print. Okay, so the matrix is 1, right? Fine. So let us check, are we able to get only one matrix? Then we extend the program to define second matrix and perform the addition operation, right? So let us run the program, right? Enter the row size. Let us make it simple, 2, column size 2. Enter the matrix elements, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the first matrix, right? So the matrix now 1 comma 2 and 3 comma 4, 2 into 2, 2 cross 2 matrix has been defined, and we have got the output. Fine. So what we did was we defined only one matrix, matrix 1, and we checked it is working. Fine. Now we can extend to define the another matrix, because to perform the addition operation we must have at least, I mean, two matrix, right? So we have already defined one matrix. We just copy paste the same thing and we can use it. So the second matrix is, let us make it mat2. Mat2. Okay. We have defined the second matrix, but have you noticed there is a red underline mat2? What could be the reason? Which means there is an mirror error. Unsolved reference mat2. Any guess what could be the mistake? What could be the mistake? Any guess? mat2, that's a red underline, which shows that unresolved error. Unresolved reference mat2. Yes, exactly correct. We have used the variable mat2, but we have not defined. What we have defined is only mat1. So any variable used in the later part in the processing must be defined. We have defined mat1 with a row and with reference to the row a column. But we have defined another matrix mat2, but it is not initialized. So we must define the second matrix. Second matrix is the same, except the difference is the variable mat1 and mat2. Right? Now the red underline has disappeared. So we have defined two matrices and inputs are provided to both matrix 1 and matrix 2. Right? So if this will print matrix 2, print mat2. So this function, this statement will accept matrix 1 and 2. there's no doubt. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for the matrix 1, and for another matrix will go. So our aim is to perform the addition operation, right? So that is matrix manipulation. So to perform the matrix, we have to check row and column. We need to traverse one after other, right? So for this, we use for the set of for loops. For I in range, the row 0, comma m, 0, comma m, right? Since it is a for loop, a colon. To have the column j in range 0, comma n, right? So we traversing a row and column. Please note, we should not make any mistakes. So for every row with respect to the column, right? Matrix, what we want to do, matrix addition, matrix add. So matrix add with respect to row and column is equal to the sum of two input matrix. That is nothing but mat 1 of I, mat plus mat 2 of j. Okay, ij, right? So we have used another variable here, mat add, another variable. That's a resultant matrix. This matrix also not defined in the earlier. That is why we have got underline. So we need to define the resultant matrix also. We have defined the input matrix. Okay, but the output matrix also needs to be defined, isn't it? So it is nothing but mat add. So all the variables used in the later stage of the programming are defined. So print matrix 1, print matrix 2, and we have print mat add, right? So what did we do? Row, column are defined. The input matrix, mat 1 and 2 are defined. The output matrix, addition defined with a column inside the row. So input matrix 1 by using a pair of for loops. Accept matrix 2 by using a pair of for loops. To perform the addition, row with respect to column and the pair of for loops. Okay, the resultant matrix and display. Right? Let us check now. Run the matrix 1. Let us make it simple. Column, enter the first matrix 1, 2, 3, 4. Second matrix 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, as you see, matrix A 1, 2, 3, 4, matrix 2 5, 6, 7, 8, and the result 1 plus 5, 2 plus 6, 3 plus 7, and 4 plus 8. We have got the resultant matrix. So we can add proper command lines to represent matrix 1, matrix 2, the output like that. Fine. So that's about the matrix addition. Okay. To perform matrix subtraction, we need to have one more for loop. For I in range of one more for loop to perform the matrix subtraction. Okay. So after the matrix addition, matrix subtraction is nothing but just changing the operator and the variable matrix sub. Okay, it's a new variable. It is not defined. So we must define at the beginning, like matrix add, matrix sub, right? Matrix subtraction. Okay, fine. It is done. And print the result of matrix sub. Right? Right. Now run the program. Right. 2. Let us make it. Column size is 2. Matrix elements 0, 0, 0, 0. First matrix contains all 0. Second matrix 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So addition will have 1, 2, 3, 4. Subtraction. After subtracting matrix 2 from matrix 1, we have -1, -2, -3, -4. Right? It is just creating a template. Adding more functions will be very easier. And Python also supports, okay, you see, as I said, it's a very intelligent language, very simple, elegant language. Okay, have you noticed, can you simplify this statements? Because addition and subtraction uses the same set of for loops, right? For I in range of 0, m. The traversal, the process is same, is a common for both addition and subtraction. The only difference is application of either plus arithmetic operation or minus, but the template remains the same. So this in the matrix manipulations, instead of having a separate block to access a row and column and having a separate operation, this could be used inside a common template, and the repetition of the same loop could be avoided. So in one pair of for loop with row and column, we can apply the matrix subtraction, which could avoid, or we can have the elimination of the repeated same template. This is also possible. Fine. Let us run the program and check either this simplified code will work or not. Let's take the same thing. So what we had entered is the row size is 2 and the column size is 3. So the second matrix must be also have the same size. Right? Now enter the elements of first matrix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. 10. Yes. It is a 2, 3 matrix. 2, 3, 2 rows and 3 columns. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The sum of matrix 1 and 2, 2 plus 5, 3 plus 6, 1 plus 7, 2 plus 8, 3 plus 9, and 4 plus 10. Subtraction, 2 minus 5 results minus 3, 3 minus 6, minus 3, 1 minus 7, minus 6. Okay, so we have replaced the repetition of another for loop have been avoided and replacing the option inside the general function. So that is why I have made matrix manipulations. Is it clear? Any doubts? We have defined matrix 2. Yes, matrix 2 is defined. Matrix 2 is defined. So here are the elements. Enter the row size 2, column size 3, which means 3 data needs to be defined, right? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first row, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. The second row, right? This is the second matrix. So for the better understanding, we can have, right? Furthermore, enter the matrix 1 element, right? Enter the matrix 2 elements. So that will give us more picture, understanding, right? Row size 2, 3. Enter matrix 1 elements 2 cross 3, which means 6 elements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now enter the matrix 2. Let me extend the output window. Okay, same 2 cross 3. Let us have some other thing, right? We have 6, right? Let us enter with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 2 cross 3. Another 6 elements have been done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Matrix 1, matrix 2. The addition of matrix 1 and 2 and the subtraction of matrix 1 and 2. Mehul, is it clear? Okay. Fine. Any doubts? So both matrix addition and subtraction, a two-dimensional array, have been defined in the Python programming. So all we have just 20 statements, 20 statements line of code to perform the matrix addition and subtraction. Right? So we can have extend the program for multiplication also. So multiplication will have a different because multiplication will be done with respect to row and column, whereas matrix addition and subtraction will pick the corresponding elements, right? Will pick the corresponding elements. The first element of row 1 and the first element of the second matrix are taken and added. So elements in their corresponding position. Okay, so first row, first column, and first row, first column of second matrix. First row, second column of first matrix, and first row, second column of second matrix. The elements are taken at their corresponding position and they are added or subtracted. Whereas multiplication will be altogether. For every row is manipulated with a column. The row and column are accessed. Whereas addition subtraction is a different story. So we need to have an extra loop, another for loop. Okay, so that is for matrix multiplication. Matrix multiplication. So let me copy the same template, right? For I in range of 0, m, for j in range of 0, n. To access the column wise, we have adding another variable for k in range 0, n, the column, right? Colon. So the matrix multiplication. Matrix mul. Okay. I comma j plus is equal to matrix 1 of I comma k into the matrix multiplication, matrix 2 of k comma j. So I, k and k, j, matrix multi. So we need to define the matrix multiplication here. Since it is a new variable and we define the function two-dimension array, right? And print matrix mul. Because every row is checked with the column. We are accessing the column independently. So we add another control variable key. Matrix multiplication of I comma j. This is the resultant plus is equal to, which is initialized to earlier 0 and added with every multiplication part. As we know, every row multiplied with column and added accumulated value. So hence we have this extra abbreviation, extra term. I comma j, k comma j, I comma k and k comma j, which will result I comma j, mat mult of I comma j. Right? Let's run the program and check. Let us take very simple. Okay, elements matrix 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second matrix 5, 6, 7, 8. So this will be the result. 6, 8, 10, 12. After adding, subtracting -4, -4, -4, and multiplication 19, 22, 43, and 50. You can check. When we multiply two matrices 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, we get the output. It's nothing but 1 into 5 plus 2 into 7, 19. The first row, first column. Then we have 1 into 6 plus 2 into 8, which results 22. We have 3 into 5 plus 4 into 7, which results 43. 3 into 6 plus 4 into 8, which results 15. Matrix multiplication. Fine. Any doubts? So multiplication is different from simple addition and subtraction because add and subtract will perform in their corresponding locations. It both almost same operation except the operator. Similar operations except adding or subtracting. Whereas multiplication will access every row with every column. It will find the product and it is added. Cumulative value. So hence we are introducing another for loop with respect to column and we added appropriately. So when we use the variable, it is defined at the beginning. So how many variables we have defined? First matrix, second matrix, addition matrix, subtraction matrix, and multiplication matrix, which are used in the processing. Fine. So that's all. Any doubts? Then we'll discuss in the next class regarding matrix manipulations. Fine. So